Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Started it.
Oh, there we go.
I started it. We're live.
What,
We're
we're
live.
recording this? Oh, this is gonna be so
What?
expensive for you guys. My hourly rate is
Exorbitant.
$350 an hour.
Is it really $350 an hour?
No, I don't do
Because that would
hourly. I do
that'd
by
be
project.
amazing. Oh, we have a professional on the podcast today.
Do you call yourself a
Everybody's a
professional voice
here.
actor? Is that
A professional
Yes.
speaker.
Yes, I'm a professional voice actor
voice
and
actor?
a potter
Okay.
on the side.
Nice.
Here's
There's
the
a voice
thing.
actor I follow on Instagram, and he's pretty entertaining. He does a lot of like impression videos, but he does voice acting full time.
Mm-hmm.
Impressions are just for the
For
gram.
fun. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I feel like I'm regretting asking Taylor to be on the podcast
Oh,
for
no.
this episode because now all I want to do is ask you questions about yourself. And
Very
so we
flattering.
might have to have you back.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure
Yeah.
some of those could influence some of what we're going to talk about because of the doing things full time versus part time. I think that's
Yes.
relevant.
I think it's definitely
Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah. So Taylor, do you want to introduce yourself?
Cool. Hi, I'm Taylor Swilley from Backyard Kiln. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I use they, them pronouns, and you can find me on Instagram at Backyard Kiln.
Whoop whoop. Louisville, Kentucky.
Woohoo.
I grew up in Louisville, so that's
Oh, really? Where?
you know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. I grew up in the PRP area, so South End.
Oh, nice.
And then my parents have lived out in the East End. You've been to their house for the Backyard Craft
Yes.
Show. But they've lived out in that area for about 13, 15 years, something like that. But I grew up in the South End.
Nice. We're in the Highlands.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm
That's
doxing myself, but whatever.
That's pretty central. I feel like that's a
Central.
pretty good area to be in.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. We live in a home rule city, and I'm actually running for city commission.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's like the city commission is like 5 people who meet once a month at the high school for an hour and make sure that the budget is good. Like our city's really, really small. It's basically just a neighborhood.
City Commission. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with the because I feel like Metro Louisville is pretty large, so
It
I'm not
is.
as familiar with how the different neighborhoods and I wouldn't call them cities, but are they considered cities?
Yes, we're technically a
City of
city.
Highlands or whatever, but it's
Well,
like
it's
Metro
a
Louisville as a whole.
yeah, well, like there's a city of Kingsley and a city of Strathmore, and like it's like the neighborhood, but they have their own city everything and their own rules.
Okay.
And their own budgets and everything. And I went to a meeting 2 days ago just to see if it was fun, and it was a city council meeting. It was boring, but it was fun.
Was it? I was gonna say, was it fun?
It was like we talked about like tea in the neighborhood. Like there's this one guy who just like refuses to stop parking on the street overnight, and we have an ordinance against that. And he just keeps getting tickets and not paying them, and it's been like 2 years, and he hasn't paid everything, like anything at all.
Ooh.
And the police chief keeps like knocking on the door and being like, "Hey, you got to pay these tickets." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we will," and then they don't. So like now
What
they're
a
gonna put a
rebel.
lien on his house.
Wow.
So it's just like tea like that. And talking about putting trees in the swale, like between the street and the sidewalk. Like there was an ordinance against that, and like the younger contingent is like pushing back against that.
Oh,
So
like you can't plant trees in the easement
yes.
because it's not your property, it's state property or
Well,
it's
it is
city property.
your property, but the city maintains like the street lights through that property, and so they're
Oh.
concerned that trees are going to mess it up. And one guy pointed out that if we plant the trees now, like we'll all be dead by the time that happens, so who cares?
I don't, yeah, I remember growing up in the and the LG&E trucks pull through and they start hacking trees away to get them away from the power lines, and it just makes them look horrible.
Yeah. Well, we don't
You're
even
just
have our power lines go through our backyards. So there's just like no reason. There's like no reason not to. It's just like, oh no, the like street lights that go underground might be disturbed by the roots. Like, come on. Anyway,
Yeah.
so vote for me for city commission if you live in my tiny city.
City commission. I started watching some of our during COVID when they started having remote meetings for the city council in the city of Southgate where I used to live.
Hmm.
And that's like a small community. We all have a bunch of cities up here. Northern Kentucky's just the general area, but that's as involved as I got just watching the meetings and stuff. It was pretty, I don't know, just see what's going on. But other than that, I haven't really stayed involved with our local stuff here since we moved. They don't have them on Zoom anymore, so I'm like, I don't really want to like spend time going to see
Yep.
in person, but
And that's how come there's no trees allowed in the easements because nobody shows up to talk for them, to speak for the trees.
Speak for the trees.
I did get some free trees on Arbor Day here when they were giving those away, so I'm always game for free trees.
Heck yeah.
Am I like, am I, it said my internet was shit. And
It's
then
good. I mean, your video
okay.
looks pretty clear.
Yeah.
Your audio's coming through clear.
Okay.
It's on time.
Well,
It's not stuttery.
hopefully it didn't lag. Like I asked Taylor, like to introduce themselves and then I didn't hear the answer. So,
Oh, I did.
okay. Well, I know that you
promise.
did, but I hope that it was all like connected.
Yeah, it sounded great. I
Okay.
heard them great.
Taylor, how long have you been doing PATs?
Pats.
Did you say that?
Yes, I was mocking the way that you said pots.
No, I know, but did you say how many years?
No, I didn't say how many. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It being in my line of work, every little lilt of anyone's accent, it really interests me. But yeah,
Well,
how
I'll tell
long-
you what. I'll tell you what. I change my accent wherever I go. So
Yes. Yes. Me too. Agreed. But yeah, how long have I been doing pots? Well, it was pre-pandemic. It was when I had an eating disorder. So I think like 2018, 16, 17, somewhere in there is when I started.
So casual.
I
This is
did.
when I had an eating disorder.
Well, I have a picture of myself with a bunch of my second batch of pots ever that someone snapped of me at the studio where I was taking classes, and I was so sick. I was so thin, and like everyone, I posted it on Facebook, and everyone was like, I thought they were gonna be like, "Wow, look at all the cool stuff you made," and they were like, "Wow, you look terrible." And
Was this
I
a
was like,
flashback photo or was this when it actually happened?
this
and
is
they
when
had
it
you
actually
sitting there?
happened.
Oh
They were
my
like, "You look
God.
very sick," and I was like, "Yes, I am."
I am sick. Thank you for noticing.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
that's what they say. Like, they're like, "Oh, great, you have an eating disorder. Good job, good job. You're losing weight. You look so good. You look so good. You look so good. You look so good." And you keep losing and keep losing, and then they're like, "Wait, something's wrong with you, isn't there?" And I'm like,
We changed our mind. You don't look good anymore.
"Eat now. Don't do it before, but do it now." Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to be past that. Despite being, triggered by the body that I'm in now, it's so much better to eat food. Intuitive
Right.
eating is where it's
Yeah.
at. Like, I'm really glad I recovered because it was killing me. But anyway,
Okay, so
Anyway.
that's six-ish years, it sounds like.
yeah, I guess so.
And then how long have you been doing your career? Because you've been in the same career for quite a
Right.
bit. So
Yeah, I've been a voice actor for over 10 years.
How did you get
Yeah.
into that?
So, I majored in musical theater, really useful. And then I I moved to Orlando and tried to like get some work doing acting somewhere. And that didn't really pan out. And I thought maybe I'll try film acting. So I got on a shitty little student film, like I've been on hundreds of times, and my scene partner for the day was playing my dad, and he was this guy who did a lot of voiceover, and he booked the gig because he was supposed to be like doing this voiceover for this cat that was going to scare off the boy I was dating. And also he played my dad. And so while they were trying to figure out how to use their equipment, because film students, he was like, hey, you've got a cool voice. Like, you should try voiceover. Come to my studio. I'll cut you a demo. And I was like, okay. And we cut the demo, and he was like, wow, you're really good at this. He's like, here's how to keep doing it. And then it became my job.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I would suspect, are most voice actors doing it kind of solo, or do they work for a larger agency? Or
most people I know are independent contractors. That's just the way the business works. Yeah, it's very piecemeal. So you just kind of have to go from gig to gig, and always be auditioning, always be looking for work.
That's wild.
Sounds like a very relationship heavy business. Is that accurate?
Yeah, once you get in with, the right production houses, then they'll send you, they've got a stable of actors that they have on their roster, and they'll just send out their auditions just to those people, and then, they know that they have good people, and then the client picks from those auditions. So, yeah, once you get in with those people, then you get a lot more business. Auditioning doesn't auditioning nets me like 1 in 50 auditions or something. I get a job.
Right. That's so wild. Well, Taylor's gonna do our ad for us today.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we get to hear their, like, I know it sounds different because I actually didn't know you were a voice actor until like 2 days ago or something. Like, you posted a story of you doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
That's my job. I don't post about it because I always look sweaty and terrible, and also I'm just bored by the fact that I have to do it all the time. So I'm just like, whatever. I'd rather post about my cats.
Right.
And that's like the that's like the atypical. I feel like your voice acting voice is the atypical, like, customer service voice.
Like welcome to Delta Airlines. For booking, press 1. Like that sort of deal.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
fucking ridiculous. You sound like a machine. Like,
I actually specialize in sounding like Siri.
Whoa.
Like, if you give me copy, like, I can.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I seriously like questioned myself there for a second when you just did that.
It's a great party trick.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, especially because we can't see you. Nobody knows that we can't actually see you. Like, your camera's off, and so you could have just did like.
I thought you just played it very strategically.
Tell me something you want me to say. I'll prove it.
I know you're
listening
not.
to Wheel Talk Podcast with Becca and Ryan.
That is fucking wild, and I feel like I'm on a Disney ride. Okay. I
feel like Taylor needs to introduce the book that we're talking about today.
Oh, yeah.
There's something. That might be kind of cool.
What am I going to say? So today we're talking about Big Magic by, oh, fuck, I got to look this up.
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yeah.
Today on the podcast, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert.
Oh, that's fucking perfect. I love it. We sound so cliche.
Creative living beyond fear.
Yes.
Yeah. And we asked Taylor to be on it because we were talking on Instagram, and you had listened to it, and you said something very interesting. Like, you said something so thought-provoking that I was like, Taylor would be a great person
What
Yeah.
did
to
I
talk
even
with.
say? Oh,
I have
no.
no idea. I have no idea. But you used like the right amount of words where I was like, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Was it through audio?
I don't
It
think it
might
was
have
through
been.
audio.
I don't know. I don't know if it was through audio. It could have just been a paragraph. But I was like, yeah, it sounds like well, and I already know that you're very like you're very introspective and you're
That's
smart,
true.
obviously.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, and so I was like, that'll be good. And actually, Ryan, what you don't know is that we both reread the book in the last 2 days.
Oh, did you
Really?
finish
On
it?
I did on hyperspeed.
Well done. That's
Wow.
the
What?
Thanks.
ADHD way. Like that's
How
our that's
Yeah.
fast?
the tradition of our people.
I found that 1.65 speed was the best.
Wow.
I
didn't know
think
that it goes that
1.4 is
specific.
where I ended up.
Yeah.
She talks
Um,
slow.
yeah, and you know what's
She kind
wild
of
is
is, yeah.
that did you read the book I'm Glad My Mom Died or whatever, that book?
It's on my to read list.
Oh, you should read it. But when you do read it, her regular voice sounds exactly like Elizabeth Gilbert's sped up voice. Very interesting.
Hmm.
Oh,
She has an awful
Jeanette
voice.
McCurdy.
Yeah, Jeanette McCurdy. She's got like you're gonna die when you listen to it. You're like, oh my God.
I
Sounds
think it's
like,
cool when people have interesting voices. I love to listen to people's autobiographies and like memoirs and shit because they talk about what happened to them in their own voice and like weird people. Like there's this one by this woman who's a sociopath, and
oh,
it was fascinating. Oh my God.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that one. Need to
Yes,
find that
it's
one.
so good. And one from a woman who was a dominatrix for a while, and then I listened to one that was really cool. She had an amazing voice. And the one I listened to that kind of scarred me was Hugh Hefner's last wife wrote a memoir that's
Oh,
called Only Say Good Things, which is what he wanted her to
was it
always do.
Holly?
I don't know. It might have been.
Crystal Hefner is what it says.
Crystal. Yeah.
Crystal. Okay.
Only
Yeah.
say good things. Surviving Playboy and finding myself.
It was
that's
nuts.
rough.
Yeah.
I've seen one of the documentaries about that, and it was rough.
Gosh. But it was cool.
Another person that has an amazingly interesting voice is Annie Jacobson, and I will send you one of the books to listen to. But she does history books, and her voice is so like soft. It's like, oh yes, in Area 51, there
That's
weren't
excellent.
aliens, but my correspondent said, and it's like very like monotone but very soft. It's very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but she does history books, and so they're kind of boring, but I like them.
I found
Wow.
our exchange. Some of it was voice memo, by the way, Becca.
It was. Yeah, I think it
Mm.
was. Yeah.
Like you said several things that I laugh reacted to, and then I sent one back.
Yeah.
And then I said I loved her idea of both being very dedicated and also not taking things seriously at all. Like this is not
Yeah.
brain surgery and no one is dying. And then you were like, why don't you be on this podcast? And I was like, okay.
Yeah. See? There you go. There you go.
That was the
Yeah,
right
So-
amount of words.
I did like that part. How many times have you read it, Taylor?
Twice.
And Becca,
Okay, same.
Twice? Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is my second time. I actually finished it last night, so just in time. I didn't really take
You're
I took notes
ridiculous.
throughout, but I didn't take notes the last quarter of it, but
Yeah, we should start by saying that a couple podcasts back, probably like 5, we did a episode talking about the E-Myth. And then I was like, it'd be fun and I hadn't read the E-Myth in a while. And then I said, it'd be fun is to read another book together and have kind of like a book study with it. And so that's kind of where we are now. And Ryan chose Big Magic. And the fact that I even got Ryan to read a book is
I've already read Big Magic. That I
I
read
know.
that after hearing from Danny Meisinger. about it.
But he agreed to read one book a quarter, which is absolutely insane.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
so listen, obviously, because we're audiobook people. But
Right.
yeah, so that's where we are. We're going to talk about it and what we liked and what we didn't like and all the things that we feel about it. So you don't have to read it. No, I'm kidding. You should read it.
Yeah, but if you think that you're annoyed by her, like if you hated Eat, Pray, Love, like you can still get the idea of all the great shit that she said without having to listen to her writing style. So
Yeah,
you're welcome.
I heard of Eat, Pray, Love, but I don't even know what it's about. So
me neither.
I just
I
know from listening
started
to
it.
Big Magic that it's the most popular book she's known for, but that's about it.
Yes. Yeah, I started it and way back in my straight days, and I started reading it, and she was talking about getting divorced and how her marriage wasn't making her happy anymore, and I was like, oh no, this is far too close to home. Must shut the book. And then I never picked it up again. But my partner
Really?
read it, and she was like, this woman is so annoying.
Okay.
So do you typically read the book, or do you go through audio? I would suspect you kind of maybe you get annoyed with voices. So I don't know. What do you typically do?
I think it's definitely like half and half. I have an Audible subscription, so I feel like I need to use my stuff, but usually I just use it for memoirs.
Okay.
Because yeah, sometimes I run out of podcast episodes and I need to listen to something while I'm doing other stuff. Or sometimes my eyes are having a bad day and reading is hard. So yeah.
Yeah. I've always just got bored reading a physical book. I can't do it.
Can't
Audiobooks.
focus.
Yeah, it feels like I'm wasting time.
Wasting time. The
I just
part of
don't
me
enjoy
that
it. I
the part of
remember
me
back
that
when I was a
wants to be a
kid,
therapist is really
I'd be
insane.
laying in bed to try to read because it was part of my assignments, and I'd be laying on this side so I could see this page, and then I'd go to the other side, lay on my
Ugh,
other side, and read the other page, and I would fall asleep holding the book.
that sounds like so much
Well,
work.
then maybe you shouldn't have read the book in bed.
How else are you gonna read a textbook? You can't sit up and read it. Your
Well,
wrist will die.
it was reading a book like All Quiet on the Western Front or something like that for high school.
Oh, okay.
It was
I like novels.
like assigned reading books or Hamlet or whatever.
Got it.
I just, you do what you have to do to get the assignments done, but
So you don't really read a lot of books then. Do you just listen to audiobooks?
yeah, I'm not a physical reader.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keeping my people in business.
I set a goal for this year to read 3 books this year. I've already read 3, I think, so I'm good. Well,
Nice.
audiobooks, but I mean, I'll probably get to 5 or so, but hey,
What did you read?
I read Big Magic was the first one, and then The Alchemist. I think what was that third one? I think
The E-Myth.
the E-Myth, yeah, E-Myth.
E-Myth.
Might have read 1984, and this one I started reading this one from Megan Allman. She's another small business owner that it's called Try It and See. I think Heidi probably knows who this is, but it's like a small business, how to get shit done while overanalyzing everything.
Nice. That sounds like something I need to read.
So,
Ryan's really good at that.
it's very easy to read, so
cool.
yeah.
I find it interesting that Ryan is so against reading because they do say that the most successful people in the world read like a book a week.
Well, maybe those people have time to read a book a week.
I don't think they do.
I don't. Do those people actually like quote unquote read a book, like the whole book?
No.
Cliff Notes.
Like I think they do audiobooks or Cliff Note. Like I think that they're doing it while they're doing other things. Some people do actually read them, but yeah.
I can't focus enough to read while I'm doing something else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I have to be doing something where I'm not reading something else, like I'm not scrolling, I'm not reading a recipe,
I listen to a lot of audiobooks.
I try to absorb as much as possible like a sponge while I'm listening. I'm not trying to just have it on as background noise.
Now, here's something interesting is that if I want to actually absorb the book, I have to read the book because I'm a visual learner. And so if I'm just listening to it, I won't. I'll have to listen to it twice or 3 times.
Yeah, sometimes I get distracted easily and just tune it out. I've read 33 books so far this year,
Sweet Jesus.
according to my thing. I think I read over 100 last year. It's just a comfort thing for me, like reading fiction.
Oh,
They're
I'm a
not like
nonfiction reader.
serious books. They're not
Yeah,
all serious books.
I don't like fiction generally,
Mm-mm.
but
Yeah. I like business books and I like history books.
Interesting.
Oh, do you know what's a really good book to if you should add it to your list is the oh no, the marvelous oh shit. What is it? Something it's the doctor who like made anesthesia famous.
not Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
all I
not
can think
Marvelous
of.
Miss Maisel. Ugh. Um okay, anyway, keep talking, I'll find it.
Okay.
And
Should we start
now
talking about the book?
We
probably
probably should.
Make some
do
real
we
content.
yeah, so I took just random notes throughout, but I don't know if there's just sparking idea. Maybe is there any general takeaways that maybe resonated with each of you more so than anything else in the book? Or certain parts that maybe we can start at?
Well, I well my at the top of my note list is her writing is like Frank Sinatra. It's very schmaltzy. She says it's terribly earnest and it's a little off-putting. That's like my notes for the whole book. Like she's obviously worked hard to become an excellent writer, which she is, but I just don't like her voice that she writes in. I love the voice that she speaks in. It's very
Oh, her speaking voice is really nice.
it is. But she'll say things
Yeah.
like, "What I'm saying, guys, is just that it's not that serious." And I'm like,
That probably
"Okay."
doesn't translate very good reading it on paper, I suspect. But hearing it, it sounded good. I mean, I can see how it kind of sounds bullet point like when you're hearing it.
It just feels schmaltzy to me. It just feels like too like she's trying to be really casual and I cringe a little.
Like one-liners a little bit.
I don't
Those
know.
Yeah.
little like snippets.
But I
Ugh.
I loved the figure skating story at the beginning about the 40-year-old woman who was like, I loved figure skating as a kid and now I'm going back to figure skating again.
Right, yeah.
As an adult. That was awesome. I got so inspired. I actually signed up for ballet class because I was a dancer until college when I got injured. And
Oh wow.
yeah, I was like really hardcore about it. Like I thought that was what I wanted to do for my life. And so I signed up for ballet class and then I did a couple ballet classes like in my living room to like try to get back into shape and then I realized,
Mhm.
oh right, this is why I quit. It's not fun for me anymore. So I canceled my class. The fun of it has died as I aged. I don't know why. It doesn't bring me joy at all anymore. I'm like, this is the hardest workout ever, and I feel nothing good.
I feel like my body hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I enjoy that story too. That was pretty good.
I really like the story about the man that never wanted to be famous. And
Yeah. The
He
so
poet.
would kind of be a
yeah,
hermit
he's
and then he would come back out and write another book or whatever, but
yeah, and like people wanted to want him, essentially. He was like
Yeah.
he was like the most interesting man in the world and he didn't want any of it. And I thought that was so fascinating. And Elizabeth actually ended up taking over his job at I can't remember which college, but
it was
uh
in Tennessee, I believe.
it was yeah, I think it was Tennessee
Franklin
State or something like
College or
that.
something. Yeah.
Something. And all of the students were like, yeah, he was a phenomenal human being and blah blah blah. And then he passed away. But I think it's so interesting and I love that idea of just being really good at something but never being acknowledged for it
Never being
necessarily.
famous. Like they were like, we will
Yeah.
make you so famous. Like he was like already like, well, wasn't he on like Time magazine or something?
Yeah, yeah, he
he
was
was
like one of the most,
awarded.
yeah.
And he was just like, no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I
I
love
could
that.
not resist that kind of fame. I absolutely could not.
I don't know if I could either.
I would have been like, yes, yes, finally I'm having success. Milk it for all it's worth until it's gone.
Yeah.
Do you think there benefit? I mean, I guess he found a balance of he could be financially stable from the work he was producing, but he didn't require the fame to keep
Right.
doing it. Some people, it seems like once you get that fame, you kind of have to keep the fame or else the financials don't continue.
Yeah. Well, he was teaching at a college. I mean, he had a job.
Right.
So, but yeah, it seems crazy to be a best-selling author and not give a shit.
The new plug-in fire kilns have been landing on people's doorsteps. Ryan and Becca are already putting theirs to the test with mini mugs, spoon rests, glaze tests, and packing it tight for bisque firings. Its interior dimensions are 8 by 8 by 9, and it can be plugged into any 15-amp outlet, making it very versatile for a range of ceramic artist needs. See how we're using the plug-in fire kiln on our Instagram account at Wheel Talk Podcast, and order yours from hotkilns.com.
It really does.
Yeah,
I think, oh, go on.
Oh, I was going to say the part that stuck out to me the most was probably when she was talking about the college students and understanding that you're essentially gambling and being aware that you're gambling and that there's other options out there for living a creative life without mountains of debt, because it leaves you in a spot that you're maybe the probability of being left kind of in a tough emotional and financial spot doesn't do good things for your creativity long term. I think that's probably what resonated with me the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have I have that in one of my notes, and it says artists often seek education as proof of their own legitimacy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was like,
It's
yeah, it's so true. Like, oh, I went to blah, 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 and I got this degree. And it's like, ooh, you must know a lot about glazes, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And you could easily get a lot of that education on your own. And I love that she advocates for that. Like, don't go into
I
debt.
agree. I also love when okay, first I want to say what I hated. The entirety of chapter 2. Okay.
Oh my God, no, not chapter
What was chapter 2?
Chapter 2 is the part where she was talking about fucking like transferring ideas
Between
and that they
people.
were like magical. I was like, fuck all the way off.
Seriously.
Like, you know what's so funny is that Deanna started to listen to that book and then she was like, I can't.
I almost did not finish it.
Yeah, like that chapter literally like makes you want to just completely. I almost did the same thing. I almost was like, I got to chapter 2 and then I seriously questioning Ryan's opinions about this book, like that we should listen to it while I was in chapter 2. I was like, what the fuck? Like
my mug idea came over to your head. Oh my God, I didn't make the mug and it wanted to be made so bad. So it went over to Becca's and she was like, you know, it would be a great mug. Yes. And I'm like, I came up with that 2 years ago and I never made it. And that's that ideas are sentient.
It was so bad.
I was actually talking with someone recently about that in the last few days. And the thing she took away from it was it takes some of the pressure off because you don't feel like you have to come like from scratch and come up with something that there could be something. I get it's a little like woo, but
yeah,
it can take pressure off that you basically have to be doing the work and then you will stumble upon ideas, whether they come to you and they have their own being and they come find you, or it's just, I don't have to think so hard and stress so hard about, bringing this idea to life from nothing. I don't know.
That is an excellent point.
Yeah, I did like that she was like, I go into a contract with an idea. I liked that that it was like, okay, we're going to start this. I'm going to give this much, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like, I like that part, kind of what you were saying too.
And that you don't have to sit too long on the idea as well.
Yeah.
She was kind of talking
Yeah.
about, if something else comes your way and you part ways with this one idea, like don't feel like you have to finish it, because
Right,
new
just let it
ideas can
go.
be better, and you don't have to autopsy what goes wrong or why something didn't work. Just move on and keep
Yes.
going.
Yeah. Okay, but then probably my favorite part of the book was the part where, just like literally, my favorite sentence of the book was when she was like, whenever people tell me that they are going to quit their full-time job to
Yes.
do their passion, my palms get sweaty. And I was like, yes, agreed.
Yes. I have that written down too. Like making your art pay your bills is the best way to quit being creative and enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many of us have had our excitement for pottery like just totally toileted by, is that a word? By
It is now.
Sounds like it.
by you have to make something someone will buy, and what could that thing be that they want?
Yeah.
What's gonna sell? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, there's so much more in my observation of people, there's so much more life and passion in the people that do pottery on the side versus the people that do it full time.
Yeah.
And it's always been difficult for like me to put it into words that are nice, like nice words. And I feel like she did it very eloquently and bluntly enough, but also like, hey, maybe, she's basically being like, no, it's really great that you do your art and it's really awesome, but don't kill it.
Yeah. Don't kill it by making it be your sole source of income and trying to, yeah, it just squeezes all the creativity and fun out of it.
Yeah, and in the suffering section where she's like, yeah, she's like, why do we have to suffer for art? We for sure don't have to do that,
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
suffering enough if you're not, the suffering creates the most inspiring
art.
and creative work. Yeah, art.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course she's talking about writing, but I think it applies to most, if not all, art forms when that's,
Yeah. I think that it's I mean, I agree with that absolutely, but I think that the pieces that I've made, both photography and pottery, the ones that I've made that I feel like are my very best, most evocative work, come from grief. Just like the deepest, darkest parts. And that doesn't mean that, my cat mug isn't bringing someone joy somewhere. But like for me, the most meaningful ones for me are like when I was fat and took a picture naked crying on a chair, like, and hung it in a gallery. Like that was really meaningful to me. Not to anyone else because no one bought it. But, people said they liked it, so whatever. But yeah, creating out of joy is so much more fun.
It is. And I think that she said that, like, you can create in grief, but I think the point is that you don't have to.
Right. You don't have to go through some kind of horrible suffering in order to be a good artist.
Right. And you don't have to be continuously suffering. You can heal yourself and still create art that is just as good, if not better. Yeah. But I think there's a stigma. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going to use it. I think that there's like a stigma out there that you have to, like, the struggling artist, like you have to be like suffering financially in order to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're making money from your art, who even are you?
Yes.
And like that's just fucking bullshit.
Exactly. Agree.
Yeah.
It all goes back to the Puritans. It always does. Fuck you, Puritans. I say that gets said a lot in our house.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Puritans. Why must you have hang-ups about everything and make us feel like suffering is good?
Right.
I
Yeah.
have a question for you guys, re this book. So there's this section where she talks about like, does nature love us back? If we love nature, does it love us back? And everybody's saying, oh, no, like the environmentalists think that nature is against us and doesn't love us. And she kind of like debunked that as much as you can in a way that's, anthropomorphizing nature as a force. But I teach private lessons, and one of the things that I do is to warn my students often to not get attached to any piece until it is out of the kiln. And I wonder if I'm killing their joy too much. Like it'll come out of the bisque kiln and they'll be like, oh my God, it looks so good. I'm so excited. And I'm like, now, calm down. Don't get too attached to it until it's after it's fired, because you have no idea what shit is going to happen to it in the next 48 hours. And I wonder if I should stop that, because I always say Clay is so mean. She's such a bitch. Like, she's so unkind to us, and she kills our dreams and makes us cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's like against the principles of this book. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, some people, I think you can tell them, hey, we're not out of the woods yet. Like, something's coming. But other people, they don't learn unless they go through it themselves.
Yes.
So I think depends on the person, but just putting a little bit of a hint out there of, hey, we still have to glaze it. You still have to be conscious of what you're doing with the glaze application, how it could result in the kiln, how they're going to interact. They could have another person's pot that blow up and it just completely decimates theirs, and they did everything they could.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, my mom always says that like God never gives you something you can't handle. And it's kind of like that in a way. But also I think that we create the environment for the kiln and for the pots that we do. I have had friends that have always struggled, like everything that they do with glazing or with clay, it's always been something goes wrong. And I've been very lucky in the sense that nothing has gone wrong, like exponentially, other than, or maybe my experiences of going wrong just kind of like flow right off of my back. Like losing 60 mugs, because of handles. That would potentially kill somebody, but not me.
Why not? Why doesn't it kill you?
I expect everything to go wrong.
See, like me, you expect failure until it's done.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's how you I think it's how you approach it. And it's like that's how me and Ryan and I approach our shows completely different. I go in saying, or like an update or something like that. I go in saying, nope, it's gonna be garbage. And if we do great, that's fantastic, but I'm expecting it to be garbage. And then he goes in saying like, yep, it's gonna be great. And guess who has great shows?
Ryan?
Yeah.
He gets what he expects.
I think it's like,
I think there is something about like, I'm going to say like manifesting it, but like
that's what I was going to say, like manifesting
energy or doing
like
something
fuck manifesting.
Like, I think I still think there's an amount of controlling the variables. I've controlled as many variables as I can before I show up.
Right.
That I can handle. Like, do I have enough work of the different forms that are gonna sell best? Do I have all of my equipment for my booth? Do I have my tent weights so that I don't have to worry about holding my tent down or whatever? As much as I can control, do I have that taken care of? And if I do, then I'm in a better mind space so that I can focus on the job at hand, which is talking to people in a kind way that doesn't seem like there's something distracting me or something that messed me up that morning that's throwing me off. I didn't spill coffee on my shirt or whatever. And
Or you brought an extra shirt in case that
I didn't
happened.
bring an extra shirt, but
I would definitely do that.
just doing as much as I
Right.
can. So I don't know if I mean, Becca, I'm sure you can control a lot of variables in how you load a kiln and how you know if this certain thing happens, you've run into it in the past, so you just avoid it in the future so that you don't have those
Yeah.
kiln horrible experiences where you're like testing really risky things that you're just like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but and also that kind of goes back to like what she actually writes in the book about what was it? I can't it wasn't her. Was it somebody that she had dated in the past, maybe, who was like, I love writing, blah, 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 but they like they were never in it 100%. They were kind of
Oh, the
like
shit
one foot out the
sandwich.
door. Yeah, the shit
Yes.
sandwich. And they were kind of like one foot out the door, and they just
They-
never got there because
They
they
were too
weren't fully.
they were too like attached to the results. They really wanted the results and they
Yeah.
weren't getting the results they wanted, so they
Yes.
just kind of dipped out and stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I love how she's like, oh, yep, got a rejection. Sweet. Okay, let's go. Like,
Mhm.
like, and I think that when you get so many, it's like almost ironic and kind of a catch-22, but when you get so many failures, you expect it, and then you get better from that. But but you still have to have a good mindset, right?
Yeah, you have to balance knowing that it could just be nothing with trying your
Yeah.
best.
Mm-hmm.
It's holding that
But is there a
dichotomy.
tipping point in which you stop saying it's going to be bad and you say, I think it'll be okay, or I'm prepared. I'm in a great state. I've got everything that I could be prepared, and the chips will fall the way they will. I don't know.
I haven't gotten to that point yet in my life, so I don't know.
The therapist in me again is dying to delve into where this came from in you, but I'm restraining myself and continuing to talk about Clay.
I was I was thinking of this analogy semi recently when I was I was comparing it to like throwing darts at a board. So I go to the same line every time and throw it at the same board. My eyes are open. It's the same distance. It's just like me going to these shows. I go to the same show all the time. I used to do the same setup. And I feel like comparing to like Becca's shows, she's like sometimes she's 15 feet from the board. Sometimes she's like 45 degrees off to the side. Sometimes her dart is a little bit dented, or she's wearing a blindfold sometimes, or she's
But I'm
like,
throwing the dart the same way every single time. I'm just in completely different positions.
yeah.
That's the difference, right? Like I'm consistent in how I present myself. I'm just not consistent in my location. And that has been a real big struggle. So that's why
In
my
terms of
location
like
needs to
selling.
be. Yeah, and that's why my location needs to be online.
Yeah. Global.
But yeah, Louisville. Boom.
Louisville. Yeah, I think the thing, I mean, I was really broken this year. First of all, my cat died. And then I channeled that and made some mugs with him on them. And I did a process I've done 1,000 times with glazes and clays I've used 1,000 times. And the kiln fucked up, overfired everything. They were all ruined. It was like I lost him all over again. And I didn't make anything for like a month after that. I was like, fuck this. Like, it just broke my heart. And this not the first time that's happened, that a whole kiln load has been ruined by some kiln thing that I didn't have any control over.
Mhm.
Right.
That's just so hard. Like, just to what other art do we, you know, put every detail in and then surrender it to the flames and just hope that something comes out, you know? Like,
Right. I mean, like it's only like glass stuff. You know, there's very little art that requires like so much to be, yeah, to like you said, surrendered to something else to do it.
yeah, that used to be really hard for me, and it's still it's still a little hard. Maybe I'm overcorrecting with my students, but like, yeah, like you have to realize that you can't put a finishing touch on this painting, and if it gets fucked in the kiln, you're gonna have to start all over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And those are pretty challenging pieces to make in the first place, I would suspect, leading up to the final firing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's emotion going into making each one of those pieces.
Absolutely. And oh my God. And also that same year I made this beautiful piece, this fountain for a grief show here in town, and it's so cool. It's like half of a woman's head and she cries out the fountain, the tears come out, and there's a basin underneath, and she's on like a lamp neck kind of deal. And it took me forever. I've never made a successful fountain before. I've tried. Finally got it all done. I was packing it up to take it to the gallery, and the fucking neck broke.
No.
In transit?
No, like I was packing it up in my kitchen after testing it, and
Oh.
and it just, like, I was like, oh. And the deadline was like that weekend. Like there was no time to redo this. And I'd been working on it for that idea. I'd been working on for like a year. And it just like,
wow.
I was like, okay, just, and my clay student was coming over that, like, she walked in like 10 minutes after that happened. And I was like, I don't know if I can meet you today. I'm really sorry. Well, just go down and you can just throw things and I'll tell you if you're doing good, okay? And just like,
I mean, that's why I stopped doing shows this year. I just felt like I needed a break. You know? It's like you go to so many shows, and even if one of them was good out of like 4, it was still just so soul crushing to go to another one and another one and another one, and like be really proud of something and then just sell nothing.
ugh,
You know?
it's the worst feeling.
And yeah, and especially when you know it's not you. It's just the crowd you're in, you know?
It's so hard not to feel like it's you sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you don't feel like it's you.
No, I mean, like at some point you have to accept at some level of it is you. Like, you know, but I've been doing this for such a long time that there's no question in my mind that my pots aren't good, you know?
And they are. Duh.
They are good. Yeah. They may be the wrong price, you know? Or I don't know, in the wrong place.
Audience, yeah.
You know, but I never said that I was good at selling the pots. I'm just good at making them.
Yeah. It's like, why do we have to have this whole other skill set as well?
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the life of the small business owner, right?
I don't want to be a small business owner. I just don't want, I want to make mugs and have other people take them away. Like I already have a small business. Like I'm a voice actor. I don't really want to do more. I just want someone to take them and like them. And my countertops are full, you know.
Yeah, and I think that that's also why it's so valuable to have like your regular job on top of the other job.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot less pressure.
Way less pressure.
Yeah, you don't have pressure to sell. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
when
have
you don't
other
have pressure to
pressures.
sell, you sell better. That's just the
Yeah,
way it
agreed.
works.
Agreed. Like I'll watch Aletha like almost sell out her shop every time she drops it. I'm like, girl, how you doing that? Like, and she's just
Right.
like, I just put it up there and then people buy it. Like, shut up. You're amazing.
Aletha is amazing.
She's great.
She's a force.
I just finished listening to y'all's first episode with her. It was fun.
Yeah, I think part two will be coming out. You'll have to listen to that one. I think part 2 is better than part 1, but we'll
Yeah.
Well, that's
Uh,
exciting.
I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but we got her a gift.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we sent her a gift the night of us recording that podcast because
so
Ryan
nice.
really wanted to ask her. What did you want to ask her?
did I say?
Yeah.
I said we should have talked about it on the podcast, but what side are you on? Bidet or no bidet?
That would have been an excellent question. Did you send her a bidet?
Yeah.
That's awesome. We have one and it's the best.
Yeah.
As a person who also has tummy trouble, love the bidet. Love it so much.
Yeah, we sent her a bidet. I don't
That's
know if she's
amazing.
installed it yet, but she was like, yeah, it's on my Christmas list. Like, we're just like casually talking, and we're like,
Yes.
we're gonna send her a fucking bidet. We were gonna send her headphones.
Oh, right, because she has those weird headphones.
Yeah. But yeah. She's so funny. She's living in like 1999.
She ordered a cat portrait from me and she was like, I can't figure out how to resize this photo in order to put it in the form. And I was like, don't even worry about it.
Oh my God.
And then she did figure it out. I was proud.
Yeah, she is technologically inept and I love it.
It's great. Okay, going back to the book. So
Oh,
another
yes.
thing I wanted to talk about with you guys is that she has this passion for writing and creativity that is, I think, enviable. Like I've always
I
been a
agree.
creative person. Like I've always in my first apartment, I like doodled on all the baseboards. Like I'm always making something in my house look different or better, or just doing some shit to just make things. But she was like, treat your art like having an affair, like sneak off and spend 15 minutes with it. And I'm like, I don't think I love anything that much to like always be able to make time for it. Like nothing at all. Out of all the things, and I'm a musician and and I do visual art and I do pottery and dance, and it's just not a single thing gives me that thrill that makes me want to sneak off with it. And like, what does that mean about me? Like, am I just a shit like creative person? Like, how does she expect us to do that? That's crazy.
Well, I think
Right?
a really good way, I think a really good way to start with that is just to start. Like,
Yes.
like I forgot how much I love to paint. And recently in the last year, I've really kind of like recaptured that. And I remember a professor in college being like, listen, you don't have to spend 1,000 years doing this, just 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day or 20 minutes a day. Like she's saying, like make time for it like you would if you were in a fair.
Oh, maybe I'm being too autism literal about it.
You might be. And like because I mean, to be fair, I was listening to this on 1.65 speed. When and a tad bit hungover. But I think that she's more, it's really easy for us to get caught up in our everyday lives and not dedicate time to the thing that we quote unquote either love or are good at or like we're called to do. And taking time will increase that love or it will decrease and then you'll know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like Ryan, You know, Ryan fucking like that 15 a day challenge is really a really good example of that. Like dedicating that time, it's not a lot, but it's just enough. And if it becomes something that's like, God fucking damn it, I have to do this again, then
Mhm.
maybe you need to renegotiate, you know?
Right. And it's going to be
Renegotiate
a
that affair.
struggle to get going those first 5 minutes or whatever you're doing. It
Yes.
doesn't mean it has to be effortless. Like, I can't wait to do this.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the affair analogy really kind of made me think that somehow I needed to be like that all the time. Even though later she was like, you don't have to do that. If you don't like doing it, go paint a bicycle, you know. But I just found that really weird because it was, I felt like two opposing things to me. But
Well,
yeah,
I
I was
think that
maybe being too literal.
I do think that she was being slightly literal, but also I think that, I mean, you can tell that she is a wildly spiritual fucking hoity-toity, not hoity-toity, fucking like
Terribly earnest.
hippy-dippy.
Yes.
Yeah, like, ooh, where the leaves blow, like type of lady.
Mm-hmm.
And so not everybody's like that, you
I'm
know?
definitely not. I'm
Yeah,
depressed like most of the time. Like,
right, same.
like
But you know what I'm doing is like I just made my very first mold today
Yay.
for a bowl, and it's just like this really small bowl, and I really wanted to get back into like actually painting, and I want to do that in a way. We'll see if it actually pans out, but I think it would be really cool to create like almost a bowl journal. So like
I love this idea.
yeah, so kind of like Ryan's 15 pieces a day, I'm gonna try to, or fit, what is it, four times a
Four times
week,
a week,
15?
15 pieces, 4 times a
15.
week.
I'm gonna try
That's
and do
great.
5 days. Like I'm gonna try and do 5 days a week and paint one bowl every day of those 5 days, you know? And you'll see the progression and you'll see where that evolution goes, you know? I've done it a little bit with like the Pantones and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But like that's kind of what started this and it's kind of progressing.
Yeah, I
But
think her perspective on it was less discipline first. It was more y the enjoyment, I think, should be the reason that keeps bringing you back.
yeah, that too.
Like there is
Yeah.
discipline in there, but it's got to be something that you enjoy, or else we wouldn't be doing this for years.
Oh, I
Yeah.
disagree with that.
You don't enjoy
Sometimes it's
throwing
the only
pots?
thing.
No, I do enjoy throwing pots, but I do think that there's a certain point that it's as someone who has okay, Taylor, why do
What?
you do voice acting
It
after
makes
10
money.
years?
It fucking makes money. That's the only reason I ever did it.
Yep. Okay, so that why do I make pots? It's literally the only thing I know how to do. I've invested so much fucking time, money, and energy into this. And if I
Hmm.
didn't do it, I'd have to invest so much more time, money, and energy in learning something else. And this is it. I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah. There
So
was
I think that oh, go on.
there's a part she mentions. She said everything sucks some of the time. What are you passionate enough about that you can endure the most disagreeable aspects of the work? That's basically the shit
Right.
sandwich analogy. What other things would you have
Hmm.
to do to be like, I enjoy this enough that I'm going to keep doing this
Right.
Like,
And
because the alternative.
that's why I've always said like I do like throwing pottery. Um, but also it's literally the career that I chose, you know?
isn't
And
that like the sunk cost fallacy though? Like, because you have done all that, you have to keep doing it? Like, that's not necessarily true if you don't want
hmm.
to.
Some of there's probably fear involved in there, right? There's
No,
Absolutely.
yeah,
probably
there's definitely
fear
like
of
fear
what
and
if I went
also
another path? Yeah.
fear and also like determination, but also not only fear of what if I went another path, but god damn it, I have to learn something else.
Shoot,
Like
That's a lot of energy. Yeah.
It's a lot of energy to learn a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Agreed.
a lot of energy to restart something in your life.
Yeah.
That big, you know?
Yeah, career-wise. But
Mhm.
plenty of people have done it.
And also, like, God forbid we're just okay with our jobs. Like,
Yes.
you
It's
know,
okay to be just okay with it. I think she talks about that
yeah,
too. Like she's like,
yeah.
I was a barista and I wrote on the weekends. Like, you know?
Yeah, like I love that she talks about how many jobs that she had and she didn't even quit her jobs uh, until she like literally hit it big on her second book, you
Right.
know? I think that's the practicality of this woman is unreal.
Yes, she's
Like
very
for
practical.
how woo-woo she is.
It's true. That's really true. You'd think
Like,
she'd be like, yes, follow your path. But she's like, no, just like get a fucking job and do your art on the side. Like be happy and eat,
yeah.
you know? And I love that. I love that about this book. Like for all the shit talk that I have done about this book, I listened to it twice because she has a lot of really good things to say.
She
Mhm.
does.
You know, follow your curiosity in order to get re-inspired. You know, forgive yourself if you're not successful and just go to the next thing. Don't
Oh yeah.
apologize for your work, you know?
I love the part about how that guy with the bikes, how he like
Yes.
super failed.
Yeah. He was
As of
a
the very
playwright,
end.
right? And he just totally tanked his project and
Mhm.
impoverished his family and was completely set back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just painted
And
bicycles for a couple months.
his kids. Yeah.
And the
His kids
neighborhood
and every
kids.
kid in the neighborhood, he just painted bikes. And
Yep.
while he was painting bikes, he just realized that he could write again at some point.
Yeah. I that's what I'm doing right now. Like it's been a really rough fucking year and I've made a lot of pots and they're sitting there not selling. And so I'm making cat portraits now in watercolor for $10 because that's what's juicing me up. You know, I love doing it. It's fun.
I think that's what the muglets are for me.
Yeah.
Like they're $10. They're like what the fuck ever, and they're fun to make. And it's like, even though
Yeah.
they're in clay, they're just not like. I don't fucking care if the rim is level.
Right.
Like,
At
yeah,
least
there's
you can see.
no.
It'd be
Yeah.
pretty funny if you're, in the past you've said I'm never making a mug again. What if muglets were your thing and you just it's a combination of mugs that you hate when they're
Mhm.
large, of putting handles, and then it's like it could be earrings. So like maybe the mug earring and pendant is the thing that you never knew it would be. So there's still
Mhm.
pottery
Yes.
involved, but it's not in the form that they traditionally are in. So
Right.
Or maybe it'll
Well,
just be fun for a while. No pressure.
yeah.
I right, no pressure, but I also I decided that I kind of want to do a charm bracelet. I think it'd be
Fun.
so fucking fun to do charm bracelet, and I want to come up with 12 different charms for the months. Um, I already figured out, obviously, I'm gonna do candy hearts for Valentine's Day, and probably candy corn for Halloween. Um,
Yes.
yes, obviously.
Do we like
Uh,
candy corn or not?
Yes.
I fucking love candy corn.
It makes my head hurt, but I like it.
Hmm.
The pumpkins are the best. That's
Agreed.
Okay, I
it's
like
just
the
where it
pump.
is.
Are the pumpkins still? I guess it's the same consistency.
The ones
Yeah,
with
but they're
brown
not
on
as
them are
hard.
garbage.
They're like sort of soft in the middle.
Yeah.
I like that about them. But it's hard to find ones that I can eat because usually they have egg and I can't eat egg.
Right.
Hmm.
But they're good. I love those. But candy
I
corn,
love
I
'em.
love that idea.
Yeah, like, something stupid and fun. But what was it? I was gonna say something. God damn it.
Run the
Not your
tape
fault.
back.
It's not your fault. Ryan, were you gonna say something?
There was this part where she was talking about, I mean, it was kind of in the college part, but the whole idea that there's not job security in creative fields, and that
Ugh.
it's like
Yes.
doing an art career is not like historically there's not been job security. There's not job security now, so
And there won't be in the future.
yeah,
Just get used to
why
it.
do yeah, you basically are choosing to get into this. Nobody is forcing you to get into this.
Yeah.
So like treat it that way so that it like nothing's owed to you. It's all on you if you just decide you want to keep doing it. And um especially if you're trying to make the business out of it, it's it's such a tough hill to climb that you have to be aware that that's what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. I was there with on camera acting for many years, and it was just like all I wanted was the success. I didn't give a shit about the work. I had friends who were like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to do this scene in class. It's going to be so cool." And I was like, "I can't wait till class is over because it gives me anxiety. I just want someone to tell me that I'm good enough." And, you know, I starved myself into oblivion for that. And I never got, I almost never got back anything from all those hours and all that money I poured into that career. I got nothing. You know, I almost got in one movie, they put me on hold and then they didn't contact me again. Like, it was just like, why am I doing this? And
Oh, because you became a voice actor from it. That's why.
I know. Well, yeah, but really it's because I didn't feel like my parents loved me and I wanted attention. And I needed somebody to tell me that I was good enough. And casting directors never did that. You know?
Yeah.
The rush
Fuck 'em.
from, oh, you booked a commercial. I'm good enough now. I'm good enough now. And you can go there and be there on set and be like the special person. And people are treating you great. And you're like, yes, I'm good. I'm so special. Everyone says so. And then you go home and then what? You got 10 more auditions that week or whatever. And it's all rejection all the time. But with my voiceover career, never bothered me at all because I have no stake in it. I'm not like, this is my passion. I love this so much. I'm like, this is my job. I'm good at it. It's kind of fun. You know, like I have no
It
stakes. I
could be
auditioned
worse,
50
or
times this week and I have like, I need the money, so please book me. But I'm not like, oh, I just can't wait to do this commercial. Like, who cares if they pick me or don't, you know?
Yeah.
do those past experiences help you with being okay that pots don't sell and they sit because you're just so used to rejection in other areas, or
you know,
is
it's
it different because you're creating it yourself from scratch?
that's a really great idea for me to to grab those thoughts about auditioning and stick them into my pottery. Pottery feels so much more personal to me because it feels like it's of me, you know. It was all my idea, all of it. And it's not just like someone said, say these words like this, and then they liked how I said it. But I think that's I should work on that as a practice. Thank you. Like, it's, you know, they're waiting for their time in my garage.
Yeah, there was a part where she mentioned you're in charge of putting in the work to produce something, but not the reaction to it. So
Yes.
there's a part of, hey, the audience is going to do what the audience does. You can't control that.
And that's
You
part
can
of
just
that's part of the creative discipline.
Mhm.
Yeah. And other people not liking what I make is not my problem. And which you can say if you're not living off of your pottery. You can say that.
Oh, yeah. You can.
But if you're living off your pottery, then it's a little dicey. How do you hold that with an open hand? That's tough.
Yeah. I think I need to become a voice actor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be the first person I coached. Coached plenty of people. My sister's a pro voice actor now.
Is she really?
Because I coached her. Yeah. Yeah, she's been doing it for like 5 or 6 years. She's really good.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, she's got a good voice too.
Yeah. And our speaking voices are eerily similar, but our radio voices are totally different. So we don't compete that often. Although she did just book a job that we both auditioned for. And I thought I was like a shoe-in for it, and she got it. So
That bitch.
I know. It's tough. I'm so proud of her. Also jealous, but proud.
that bitch.
I really liked, I'm looking over my notes again, when she said originality is not possible and just try being authentic instead. Like, and
Mhm.
I
Facts.
like how many mugs have potters made in the thousands of years, you know? Like, you're not going to make a new mug. You're not going to do it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to have done that, and that's totally cool. Like, just make what speaks to you.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really
Yeah, my note there was your ideas might not be fully original, but they have never been done by you. Share what you want to share and do it authentically. These ideas become original.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those ideas become original.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you remember the part where she was talking about the paradox that said, my creative expression must be the most important thing to me in the world
Yes.
if I am to live artistically, and it also must not matter at all if I am to live sanely.
Mm-hmm. It's the most important and it's the least important. It's nothing, it's everything. And she had
Yeah.
that
Maybe-
whole section at the end, which I really liked.
And that was around when she was saying, hey, we're creating useless, objectively useless objects.
Right.
Like there's no urgency for survival here. We're not plumbing or, clean water or whatever.
We're not doing brain surgery or negotiating peace deals. We're just like making
Right.
shit and it really doesn't matter. And guess what? No one's going to notice that you made it probably. So take the pressure off.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, nobody notices that I do anything.
You know what's funny? Now that I think about it, well, first of all, I think that me and Heidi talked about it a little bit because I'm at her house right now. Well, I'm at her parents' house right now, but she was like, I hated that she was like, art is useless. And I was like, I don't think that's what she said.
No.
In the
And
grand
It's not
scheme of
meaningless.
things, objectively,
art is, yeah. And but anyway, but then she was like, but then she, she made up for it when she said so and so and so. But also I think that it's I don't know. Okay, first I want to ask this question. When you listen to this book, both of you, is there anything new you learned, or was it more just confirming things?
I
I
learned a
think
lot
that,
of stuff. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I think for me, it was basically take the pressure off. Don't don't put so much pressure on producing the results or expecting everything to go your way. Like a lot of this is up to chance. Like all you can do is do the work. I feel like I still
Okay.
knew that. I still had discipline, but relieving some of that pressure, I think is some of the
Yeah.
takeaway.
Okay. So, yeah, so like stuff that maybe you weren't practicing that you were like, "Oh, I should be doing that," Is that
Nothing
kind
that specific.
Right. Okay. Because when I read it, I was like, I already do all this fucking shit.
Good for you.
But then I think about like when I was younger and how my sister used to, I'm an awful PS awful sibling. And
Oh no.
but I think that I was just so literal and so, I don't know, maybe I was a little bit more aware when I was younger. Like my sister would come up and she'd be like, "How do I look?" And instinctively, immediately, I would be like, "Nobody cares how you look." And of course, I probably should have said it nicer than that, but I never did. But what I meant by that was like, literally nobody cares about you other than you.
Yeah, everyone's in
And
their own lane. They're not paying attention to you.
right,
Right.
they're like, yeah, they're not paying attention to you, so you just do the best you can. And and so I've always kind of like been of that regard. Of course, that doesn't mean that I don't do like, of course I could work on these things a little harder, but the book overall for me was like, yeah, you know, um, like yeah, I've well maybe because I've done it for such a long time full time that it's like things that you just learn instinctively over the years, you know? So anyway.
Because you basically said that after you listened to it the first time and said, yeah, I knew all that. Or
I did say that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that I didn't really enjoy getting reminded of all that, you know?
Yeah, I think that my takeaway was, where's the fun? Like, you don't like doing it? Stop. You
Yeah.
know, do what is fun. Like, sometimes I feel guilty because I'll look at my wheel and I'm like, it's gathering dust. You know, it's been 6 weeks since I threw a pot. I'm like, I don't have to feel bad about that. Like,
Yeah.
it'll come back. It always comes back. It's a cycle. And if I'm
Yeah.
not having fun, I'm not going to do it when it's not so serious, you know?
Yeah. And that like whole part about being selfish, like that's the time that being selfish is good. Like when it's for a creative endeavor.
Expand on that more.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
She like talks, I want to say it was in the very beginning of the book where she's like, uh, when you realize that like you're like, oh, I should be doing this, and like this is fun for me and this is what I want to be doing, you need to be more like
Oh,
selfish about saying like, no, I'm gonna fucking do this.
like the ice
And
skating, the whole ice
yeah, like the
skating
ice skating,
idea.
like be selfish in supporting yourself, you know?
Right.
Yeah, don't be afraid. And she has so much good stuff about people for people who are afraid to start and afraid to be creative. Like that's never been my problem. I've always just jumped in with both feet and be like, woodworking, sure. I could probably cut
Right.
stuff with a saw. Like, you know, like whatever. Oh, I don't want to put my password in. Thanks, Google. You know, like that's never been an issue for me. But I think that that does hold a lot of people back.
Yeah, I've had the
Oh yeah.
overthinking thoughts
Yeah.
for sure. She mentioned a bunch of, she was like being afraid and bringing up excuses why you shouldn't pursue that creative endeavor. You'll be misunderstood. No market for it. Someone else already did it better.
Right.
Don't want your idea stolen. You won't be taken seriously. You'll think it's been a big waste of time and money, or you're too old or young to start. Like all those different excuses that are
Yeah.
like, hey, you shouldn't do this.
Why the fuck not? Is my
Yeah.
mantra. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
You only live
so if
once.
you waste a little money, so what? You know, you find out you don't like it. Okay, well, I've got a lot of beads in my basement now, but you know, like that wasn't my jam, but I have them. You know, and it'll come. Things come back around for me. Creativity cycles.
Did she talk about, yeah, did she talk about stopping things? She never really, did she talk about that in the book? Like being like, it's not my thing. Like, I'll move
Yes.
on. Okay, I can't remember that part.
Yeah, there was like one quote at the end where she was talking about that guy who was like, I do all the same writing that you do and we're the same age, and the author was like, I can't just keep going anymore. And the author was like, well then if it's causing you nothing but pain, like, dude,
Oh,
stop.
persist
Oh,
or
yeah, when he
not.
was writing the guy.
Well, there
Yeah.
was a guy in the audience at a talk, I believe, and
Yes.
he asked for an honest response that was not persevere. And he was like, stop doing it. And then if you realize that you really miss it, then persevere and keep doing it
Yeah.
because
Right.
you find that you really did have something there.
Yeah, either you like it or you don't. And that's, I mean, when I stopped dance, I still dance in my kitchen, but like I haven't looked back. And that was my life for like 15 years. That was my whole identity. And I'm like, not fun anymore. Okay. Now I do other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the permission to stop. She gives you all kinds of permission in this book. Permission to go, permission to stop, permission to finish,
Yeah.
permission to
I
say
do
it's
love
good
that
enough.
she says that in the book. She's like, if you need permission, I'm giving it to you now. Like,
Yes.
let's fucking go. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Done is
yeah.
better than good.
Yep. Yeah, I had that on there.
That's a good one.
Completion
I
is an
love that.
honorable achievement because most people
Yes.
do not finish themselves.
Exactly. Like just finish it out and yeah, don't belabor it to death.
I think can we like dwell on that done is better than good quote a little bit, because I
Yeah.
think that our society right now is really in a good is better than done.
Agreed.
Especially in the ceramics world. And uh it's so interesting because, well, Ryan and I have always been like, just keep going. Like, production. You're gonna get better as you do. Um, but I see now, especially with this younger generation coming up, that it almost feels like they have to be good first
Hmm.
before they can like move on, almost.
Before they can sell or before they have to master some
Yeah,
technique? Is that kind of what you mean?
kind of. I mean, it's just when we were selling, when we were selling back in 2014, 2015, those years, our pieces were shitty, right? Like,
Agreed.
let's be honest, right? Our
Yes.
pieces were shitty.
My mugs
And
were 5 ounces because
right.
I couldn't make anything
And
bigger.
but we still like did it. And
Mhm.
we and and I feel like kids nowadays,
Kids these days.
I feel like kids these days are really ashamed of the shitty pieces that they've done.
Hmm.
And I'm really proud of the shitty pieces that I've done. And I don't know if that's like a generational thing or not, but they're
Some
like,
people
oh,
probably want
well,
validation too. They want to say that,
yeah,
but they want people to say, "Oh, no, it's not that. Like you're
Yeah,
being too hard on yourself."
yeah.
that's
But
true.
like they'll scrap all of their work from a year ago because they don't want it out in the world.
Oh yeah, I have seen these people where they're like, I never sell my seconds ever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like I've got a little pinholing on this thing, but people fucking love that shit anyway.
Mhm.
Like I just sell it at a discount. That stuff sells out faster than anything when I'm at markets.
100%.
And I mean, I'm not going to put anything out with fatal flaws or,
Mhm.
things that are unsafe or things that are unvitrified. But like if it's ugly or it's got like a little rough spot or a little piece of something stuck to the kiln shelf, like I'm fucking
Done is
selling
better
that
than
shit.
good.
Yeah, and people like it and it makes them happy and it's useful. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to smash it with a hammer and say, "Forget that happened. I wasn't perfect and we must destroy all the evidence." You know?
Right. Well, some of it, people's work is under a microscope a little bit because they put it out publicly. In
Hmm.
2014, 2015, we weren't on social media as much, and
That's
our
true.
audience was way smaller. We weren't broadcasting it to the world that we just got these pots out of the kiln. We're really excited about it, but in the grand scheme of everybody else that's made pottery over the years, it's brand new. Like it's beginner work, and that's
Hmm.
okay. It's just, you know,
I just really miss the beginner stage.
Me too. It was like, "Oh my God, I could make a candlestick. That would be so cool."
I also miss the beginner stage of watching the beginner stage. I fucking love watching people progress.
It
And
is
it's
fun.
so heartwarming to see people go from like A to or Z to like A, you know?
Hmm.
I'm thinking of one person specifically, Kessler Floyd. She got like really big on TikTok. I think she's a model as well, so she had that going for her. And she just taught herself how to throw, and she just put out all of her mistakes, and they were so fun to watch. It was just so fun to watch her learn and like get better over the years.
mhm.
And
Hmm.
I miss that, you know?
That's the fun of
Miss
being in a community space.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It's
is.
all the energy and all the ideas floating around and looking over there and seeing somebody making this fucking cool fairy house and you're like, I should learn to make that, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That I miss. I don't miss the old ladies like getting on me about making sure that every single scrap of clay that I trimmed is off the floor, or like the wheel head is a little dirty. Like, calm down, women. But
Yeah, it's just pottery. It's
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 clay.
just mud. Yeah, it's
Don't
just
worry
mud.
so
in a
much about it.
in a small way. I feel like we kind of experienced that over the last few years. If people followed Seth Rogen, because his
Mm.
pots did not look that great early on, but you got to see the progression, and he's such a big figure that there were so many eyes on him all the time,
Mhm.
and then you got to see those pots evolve. So in a way,
Yeah.
most people don't get that many eyeballs on them
Ever.
when they're at that state, and
Yeah.
it's like, ooh.
Advancer kiln shelves are the best shelves in the business. Made out of silicon carbide, they resist glaze, so they're perfect for teachers and students alike. With the handy-dandy glaze erasure, you can wipe away all your glaze mistakes. This is especially a great thing in community studios. Now thinner than ever, the advanced ultras are 4 millimeters. Back problems from lifting shelves are a thing of the past with the new Ultra Thins. Advancer shelves are an investment in your kiln's happiness. You can find all these magical products at kilnshelf.com. And now back to the podcast.
It's
Okay.
kind of like the lobster story in her book,
Yes.
you know? I fucking love that
I
story.
love the lobster story too.
Or the crustacean.
Should we tell the audience?
Yeah, we should tell the
The
audience.
very end of the book.
Yes, the last thing.
Who wants to go for it?
I'll go for it.
Okay.
So this this painter went to France to try to make his way, and he was showing his work to anybody who would look at it. He was painting every day. He was doing all the work. He was working so hard. And then one day he was talking to these young people in a cafe, and it turned out that they were like super rich, and there was a big masquerade ball going on, and they were like, "You should come make a costume. It'll be amazing." And like some of the crowned heads of Europe will be there, and it was so cool. And he was like, "Yes, this is my chance. Awesome, awesome." And he showed up in a lobster costume that he labored over for several weeks, I think. And then he walked in and realized that they hadn't mentioned that the theme of the costume party was like medieval court Renaissance, high Renaissance, and
Right.
everybody was wearing these amazing, like, expensive, gorgeous corsets and gowns and shit, and he was a lobster.
A red lobster.
Yes, and he almost didn't walk in because, oh my god.
Right.
was
And
the
he was
only
already
lobster.
the outsider. He was the only American there, I believe.
Right, and
Yeah.
not rich either.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just went for it, and people fucking ate it up. He said he was the court lobster, and he danced with some duchess or something, and like it was the best. And she
The
said,
Queen of Wales or some shit like
Or
that.
Belgium, or one of
Belgium,
those.
yeah, it was Belgium.
and she was like, don't apologize for your work. It's what you have, and you did your best with the time you had, and go fucking to the party in your lobster costume and live, you know?
Yeah, don't hide behind the mistakes you may make, because those mistakes may make you famous.
Yeah. I'm doing that every day.
And it was
Yeah.
talk, the very beginning she was talking about courage, so that's part of the bringing back, have the
Yeah.
courage to
Yes.
bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you, is what she was saying.
To say it in the most earnest and schmaltzy way possible.
Can I tell you a funny story about what happened yesterday with Heidi? It was Monday. Today's Wednesday. It was Monday. So, okay. As we know, I'm not very experienced in molds at all, right? And Heidi is a mold maker, and she also does slip casting and all those things. And she's now in her parents' chicken coop. And it's probably I don't know, like 20 by 10 foot chicken coop. And I was like, Heidi, I really want to watch you make a mold, because I've never actually watched anybody make a mold that actually knows what they're doing. And so I got there really early, and she had to do some stuff beforehand. And this mold that I realized that she had to make was it was in the plaster, and it was stuck in the plaster, and she just had to get it out. And I was like, can I help you get this out? And she's like, oh, sure. Yeah, you can do that. I got it fucking stuck. I got it like
Oh no.
stuck. And so I'm like trying to get it out, and like some clay got in there and it got like jammed. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she's like, well, don't break it because I don't want to make another. I have to make one more or something like that. And she's 3D printing now, and the 3D prints take like forever to do. So she's like, just don't break the 3D print. And I was like, well, maybe if I got it wet, it'll help it like release. And so I like went over the hose and like filled it up with a bucket, didn't release, but I did get it to kind of like move. And then we came back and I was like, what if we'd used vegetable oil? And we squirted vegetable oil in it, and then and you could tell that Heidi was like, oh my fucking God. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, it's fine, whatever. And she was kind of like pissed. But then she's like, okay, let's take it to my house because we have an air compressor at the house, and we'll try and like push air into it so we can get it out. And so we took it to her house and we're driving there. And by this time, it's almost comical how like much we've tried to like get this mold out. And so we get the air compressor and I'm like squirting squirting the oil in the air compressor, and the oil like squirts out everywhere, all over the sidewalk, all over Heidi.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and Ryan will know, like Ryan understands. I said, have I ever told you that I'm that friend?
That friend that comes to your place and just breaks shit.
Yep. That's me.
Oh no.
And she's like, that would have been nice before we did this. And by this time, we were just like cracking up because and then Isaac's on the phone with us at the same time as us, literally, she's sawing the mold in half so that we can cut it. And then she casted a new mold. But it was just like, she's like, I can't get mad at you. I've done this like a billion times, just the same way. I've fucked it up the same way, you know. But it's just, I don't know. It was just so funny and horrible and awesome all at the same time. It was a great learning experience at the expense of Heidi's mold. I don't know if it would have actually, I don't know if it was my fault or not, actually. But like there's a chance that it would have never come out. But yeah, it was.
Imagine how bad it would be if you weren't there with Heidi that had done this tons of times, that you were just doing this on your own.
Oh yeah, you'd think you were a real fuck up. But really, it's just the process.
Yeah.
It's like the people that are like, oh, I saw one of these on the internet the other day. They're like, what can I try? I tried pottery and I sucked. And I was like, honey, if you want to do pottery, you're going to suck for the next year at least. You just got to like deal with that fact.
Yeah, you have to be satisfied with sucking for a period of time.
You're not going to be like, oh, wow, I made a mug your first day. You're going to be sad for a while. Just accept it.
That's the biggest thing that I've been teaching Paige. We haven't done a clay lesson for a while, but the biggest thing is, say, Paige, what do we know? And she goes, we're not perfect. And we make mistakes, and you're supposed to mess up. And I was like, right.
Yes, exactly.
If you can learn one thing.
If people wanted perfect pottery, they would fucking go to Target for way less than we sell our pots for. Yeah. They want it because it's handmade. They want to see your fingerprints and the little dip in the rim where you fuck something up, or like it's not completely round. They love that shit. They're like, it's handmade. I'm like, okay, crazies, but have fun with your imperfect pot. But like, that's part of the charm. Lean into it.
It really is. Yeah.
There was a part where, and it's kind of adjacent to the idea part of the book. Do you remember the whole having a genius versus being a genius? Do you remember that part?
Yeah, that was good, actually.
So I jotted down having a genius versus being a genius. Having a genius relieves the pressure. Wins can be attributed to your genius doing well, and losses can be attributed to your genius not being present that day. It removes the ego from the artist.
Yeah, it's just like you're like a muse, a spirit of a muse that appears or does not appear for you.
Yeah.
Which I
It
mean,
said-
if you want to believe in that, well, whatever. But
Yeah. And
but
it said
taking
you
the pressure
must-
off yourself of you need to be a genius. You don't.
Yeah.
People just need something to drink coffee out of.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last part of that I wrote down was you must work assisted or unassisted by your genius. You cannot wait around for it to show up. Your genius is making sure that you are dedicated and in it fully. So it's like, just show up and do the work. You don't have to be sparked for inspiration or motivated to create something magical that day. It's just, hey, your genius might show up, it might not.
Yeah.
You got to do the work regardless.
Yeah, sit down and fool around and see what happens. Have fun.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something about something that she said. Fuck. I forgot.
How about geniuses?
No, it wasn't about that.
Is there a cricket in somebody's house? Because I'm fucking hearing a cricket.
I
And
apologize.
it's not me.
It's
I
very
don't
much.
care.
It's me. It's
Okay.
100%
There's not a
me.
cricket here. I'm
Listen,
surprised
this
you can
is
hear a cricket on the background of her.
Well, you know, I'm on some really good sound equipment here, so.
Oh, okay. That's probably contributing, I would suspect.
I can hear a lot of
But
things on these
I could
headphones.
probably close the doors.
Oh, it's
There's
not
probably-
bothering me. I just thought, like, am I crazy? Like, am I having a stroke?
No.
I keep hearing this cricket.
You're not crazy. It's no, I basically have to record outside all the time now. So
Ambience.
yeah, basically you get
Yeah.
the Mother Nature.
Summer ambience.
Yeah.
We have a cricket in our basement, actually. I've named him Chester. I don't know how he got in there, but my cats don't care. I'm like, this is your one job. Like, rid the house of a loud bug, please. And they're like, we're not even going down there. We don't care. So Chester
Yeah.
lives in the basement now, and he does that a lot.
Oh, Lloyd killed a chipmunk today.
How many is he up to this week?
2?
Nice.
2 since we've been here.
He's a mighty hunter.
He's a mighty hunter. Yeah.
We forget because they're cute and fluffy how deadly predators they are until they bring us something dead.
Well, yeah, they're deadly, but also like the way that Lloyd hunts is just fucking hysterical. Like his back legs splay out and he like hops to get his prey, and he is not graceful.
Pounces on them, sort of.
At all.
Like
He is-
an Arctic fox.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Spring.
It's just rough. It's rough to watch. It would be like it would be like watching your kid that's 6 years old play soccer. That's how it feels.
Like, oh, how cute and clumsy you are.
Yeah. Like they make a goal, but they make the goal by like prancing down the field. That's what it would be like.
I always think Whipper's so cute and fat, and then he'll just absolutely murder like a bird or something. And I'm like, my God, like he stomps on things with his feet, and he's so heavy. Like, it's just brutal.
I would love to see Marbs outside. Marble.
Oh my God. I loved watching her chase her tail on Instagram today.
Yeah, she's an
swelled up
agile.
into a ball over there.
She is agile. Like Lloyd will come up to the window. Oh, Lloyd will come up to the window when we're there, and Marble freaks the fuck out.
Oh no.
Like she'll bat the window, and yeah, I can tell she'd be a good hunter.
Yeah,
She's got that
she's
instinct.
caught some mice in the basement at the old house.
Yeah,
Good, doing her job.
that's
Yeah.
right.
They need to earn their keep.
Autumn will
Yeah.
just play around with little bugs or whatever. It is funny when there's little flying around because Autumn will jump for those or Marble. You just randomly jump in the middle of the room and just catch them out of the air.
That's awesome. Buster likes to follow them around, but he's not he's not very good with hand-eye coordination, so he doesn't usually catch anything. But he's bless his heart, he's just so dumb. We say that to him all the time. We're like, you're so beautiful and you have no idea. You're so
No
stupid."
clue. Yeah. What was the point of the dancing, the dancers, not Bolivian,
Oh, in
in
Bali.
At the very end,
Bali? Yeah,
It
what
was
was the point of that?
that the sacred can be that any
Changed?
art can be sacred.
Okay.
That it's just like whatever we assign to it. If we get in there and do the work, then it can be sacred.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what
yeah,
it
it
is.
kind of took a life of its own when they had the traditional dances and said, "Oh, well, for the public, we're not going to do the traditional dances because it could be seen as, you know, entertainment rather than sacred or whatever." And then they come up with unique ones and they get creative with just creating their own interpretation of, not having the guardrails of you have to do this in reverence to the tradition. It's just,
For fun.
yeah, for fun. And then they become the dances back at the temple, and they kind of replace the traditional
Right.
ones because they have a life of their own, and people seem to enjoy the evolution.
Yeah, the freshness of it. Yeah, mostly it just confused the Westerners, which is what I took away from it. They were
Yeah.
like, "What? Isn't this a church thing?" Well, I mean, we could do it anywhere. You could be on the pool deck at the resort. It doesn't matter. Like all places
Well,
are sacred.
it
you know?
makes me laugh. It's like so classic that whole scenario is so classic of like the hoity-toity white ladies that
Yeah.
like come in and they're like, you can't do that, nah. And they're like, bro, we just wanted some money. Like
Like everyone
that,
was happy till you showed up.
yeah, till you showed up, we were fine. They were drunk, we were dancing,
We
like
all made money. We had an excellent time.
yeah.
Yeah. They don't have that. Again, it's the fucking Puritans.
The
We
fucking
must separate
Puritans.
we must separate the sacred and the secular.
Yeah.
And
Goddamn
shame.
Puritans.
Feel shame.
Shame.
There was a period where it was around the education part, but it mentioned finding a group to share the creative process with and building
Yeah.
each other up along the way, holding each other to deadlines, encouraging one another to keep challenging ourselves. And it's free. I feel like that related to the accountability buddies, the social media spheres that we live in, and we have those friends that we can,
Yeah.
you don't know them in person and communicate with them on a regular basis, one to one in real life, but you just have those connections or those people that you can share that creativity and bounce ideas off of. I mean, that's
Yeah.
essentially what the podcast has been over time in audio form.
Yeah, 5 years. Bye bye.
Man, you guys are killing it. It's hard to do a podcast for that long.
We would not be here if not for Ryan.
A discipline.
Ryan's a disciplined guy.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan's basically the definition of discipline.
I respect that.
Unless
I am not
it's on
able
a
to
diet.
We're done with the diet.
Thank
Fuck
God.
We ended it a week
Fuck.
early,
Diets.
Oh, thank God.
but we'll have less sugar. We'll see. We got some takeaways. I mean, the takeaways I expected going into it. I'm like, this is what I expect to take away, and that's where we're at. So
Ryan was doing a diet thingy with a food plan with Rachel
and my parents.
and his parents. And
wow.
as you can imagine, I am very anti food changing of anything.
Yes.
Because of my history with diets and food.
Big fan.
And so I went to their house and it was rough.
Oh no. All diet food? That sucks.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was
No, the food
basically
was
the diet
great.
was no sugar, no grain. So we didn't have bread around. We didn't
Oh,
have.
no bread.
No pasta. Like
I
I
would
did eat
die.
pasta, but
There was
I
pasta
didn't.
up there. Yeah.
But there was one point where I was eating chip. Like, okay, here's the thing. Whenever I go to Ryan's house, Ryan and Rachel's house, plus and or Deidre's house, I always want Ruffles and ranch dip. Like
Mm.
hmm
that is the food of choice at their house
Mhm.
because it's delicious and Deidre always has it. So
Yep.
So we got like groceries and I got Ruffles and ranch dip and I was just eating them in the kitchen and Rachel's like, you have to eat that right here. And I was like, yes. Yes, I
You're
do.
like, go in the other room.
If you don't like it, you can leave.
She loves that too. The French onion dip. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. It was rough. It brought back a lot of things.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
but
very
I still,
anti-diet.
I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Ah,
I'm very frustrated.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
overall,
It's been
I
fun.
feel like should we like rate these or something? I don't know.
Are you
Would
rating
you
the
read it
books?
again or I don't know.
Okay, here's what I think. I think that this should be, if you are listening to this and you're a college professor, I think this should, and it should be mandatory as a book to read in your class.
Yeah, agreed. Freshman year. Like, catch them before they
Freshman
spend all the
year.
money.
Yep. Catch them
Mm.
before they waste their life away.
But I mean,
Like,
wouldn't that be antithetical to the whole purpose of they want the students to stay in school so they can continue to get paid?
It probably depends on the teacher, right? I suspect the
I guess so.
teachers would
yeah,
want that
but
from their students, but the whole thing is not
it's not all about
anti-school, but
yeah.
It's true. It's true.
it could lead them to do a minor in something that's related, or maybe they shift a little bit. And seems like there could be a gen ed course that could relate to this, like an
Yeah,
English
everybody.
literature
Yeah.
course that this could, because I mean, at that age, there's a lot of creativity flowing. I feel like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
even if you're business minded or whatever, I feel like doing a book like this, and it was a pretty easy book. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 5 hours.
Except for those, really terrible chapters like at the very beginning that were
chapter
just,
2.
we don't speak of chapter 2. But other than that,
Right. But yeah, I feel like it's the art equivalent to How to Win Friends and Influence People.
yeah.
And I really hate to give her that much power, but I am.
She's right. She's right.
She's right.
And she's
She's
right about a
right.
lot of things.
She's right about a lot of the things, and it needs to be heard. And I would say that if you're listening to this and you're under the age of 100, you should listen to it.
Agreed. My partner listened to it with me, and she A, hates Elizabeth Gilbert, and B, she doesn't think of herself as creative, even though she fucking makes pots. She's a musician and she's very good. But anyway,
Sophie's super fucking creative.
I know. You got to come here and tell her, because she just doesn't believe me. She thinks I'm being patriotic when I say that.
I'll send you a voice memo.
Good. Okay.
You can let her listen to it.
She'll love that I was talking about her on a public forum. But she even wanted to listen to it and found some good takeaways from it. And she's not a quote unquote professional artist or anything, even though her work sells all the time, and she's in, she has her work in a gallery and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Right. And she embroiders all of her jeans. It's fine.
She did embroider for a while. She should pick that up again. And she knits.
Yeah.
She knit herself a sweater. Like,
yeah, like, come on. Yeah, I think that you should listen to it. And I think that we've been very clear on the fact that we hated chapter 2. You
gotta push through it.
But I think you should still listen. No, I think you should still listen to chapter 2. I think it ties in. I remember what I was gonna say. I remember. It had nothing. It does have something to do with the book, but more of a funny situation. Did you catch the whole "my good friend Rob Bell"? I know that Ryan doesn't know who Rob Bell is,
Who
but
is he?
I'm like,
oh,
are
you
you
don't know
naming
either?
are you naming the cricket that's in the room with you, or
Yes, Rob Bell. Rob Bell was the guy who started Mars Hill Church, and I think he went to jail.
I'm gonna have to Google this real quick.
And she was like, "Oh, just like my good friend Rob Bell says." He's also an artist or author, sorry. But it was like
what was the
it was,
area of the book when she was talking about this?
I don't even know. I think it was in the last half. But he was like, it was super very touch and go there for Rob Bell for a while, because I think that his church was like embezzling money or some shit like that.
Oh no.
And I think that's him, but I like, nobody quote me on this. You're gonna have to Google it yourself. But
Oh, I'm Googling.
I'm looking through his Wikipedia, but I don't know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see.
It
Scandal.
was like a mega church, seems like.
Yeah, it is a mega church. Yeah, so anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Controversy within evangelical circles because of his teachings about hell. I'm interested
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah. So he's fucking crazy.
How did that relate at all? She just dropped the name in there and you were like, oh, I know that name.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not the same
Listen,
person, or maybe it is. I don't know.
when you grew up in as Christian of a Christian home as I did, you fucking know who Rob Bell is, okay?
That's weird
So
because I grew up so fucking Christian.
yeah, but you grew up so fucking Christian in a different part of the
A
country.
different denomination, maybe.
No, it was like a West Coast church.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a mega church. Dr. D. James Kennedy was our pastor.
Yeah. He was one of the ones that started doing the video churches. So you would like
Okay.
go to
This Rob Bell
Like
guy.
the inception of Joel Osteen or something?
yeah, no, well, Joel Osteen's a little older than him, but no, it was like you would go to a church and you would go into like watch the sermon, and it was just a screen that he was preaching on.
Mm.
Oh,
And there was like not anybody real at the church. It was just like an audience, essentially.
Weird.
that
Very
is
strange.
weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could be wrong about this whole thing. It could be a completely different person, but I'm pretty sure it is. So,
He was in a documentary called The Heretic, or it was about
ooh,
him. But
fun.
I don't know. He
I
wrote
like
a
how
book
that was
called
the
Sex
idea
God.
you were thinking of the whole time, and you're like, I can't get this idea. What was
Rob Bell.
Mm-mm.
Rob Bell.
It was Rob Bell.
Rob
That
Bell.
was the whole thing.
Well, I was like, if anybody knows who Rob Bell, it's Taylor. Like, that's basically
Really?
what I said in my mind, because I know you have like a super strong Christian background. So, like,
Yeah. One that
Or-
I very happily and heartily left.
yes, a very strong Christian trauma, we'll say it that way.
Yes,
That
true. Outlaw
So-
pastor Rob Bell shakes up the Bible Belt, CNN 2017.
ooh.
He was condemned for questioning the existence of hell.
Yes.
That was his deal.
okay.
apparently.
Yeah.
When I put
remember
scandal, that's what I get.
I just remember it being like such a moment in the church.
And he
So,
was like, and so he's friends with our friend Elizabeth, whatever. the fuck her name is.
Elizabeth, what's her face? Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems very significant to our audience, probably.
Obviously extremely significant, obviously.
Huh. She was on the Robcast, it looks like. If you just
Oh,
Google
really? Well, they really
Elizabeth-
are friends.
No, they actually are
Elizabeth.
friends. She says,
Yeah.
my good friend Rob Bell.
And
She
he
like
was on
name dropped him,
Oprah.
like,
Ooh.
yeah. Ooh.
Oh, wow. Today I'm celebrating Rob Bell. Wow. Okay.
Is Rob Bell vegan? Is one of the related searches.
Oh,
Is
he's in
he?
I don't know. It
He's
looks like
another-
maybe he was. How on a vegan diet he was able to fuel well enough to not just contest, but win the Mid-South in 2017, formerly Land Run 100. Oh my God, vegans can exercise and achieve. Holy shit. Who could imagine such a thing? Anyway, I'm vegan, so, chip on my shoulder. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he had a huge scandal, just that he...
It might have been somebody else that I was thinking of that had a huge scandal. Regardless, it doesn't really matter. Do we have any, should we do like last thoughts? Do we have anything else that we want to kind of like chit chat about?
Do we know the next book or have thoughts of a book? I feel like I brought this one up, so
You did bring this one up.
did we
I
have
want to
another
be part
one?
of this book club now. This is fun.
I've never
Would
been
you
part
like
of a
to
book
come-
club, so it's,
I'll read along with you.
Okay, and then you can be on the podcast with us the next time, and we can add one more person.
If you want.
Yeah,
Be
that'd be
glad
fun.
to.
We should get Sophie to read it with us.
Yes, maybe I'll have her listen to it as well.
Sophie used to be a lawyer. I bet that she has a lot of
Yes.
like critical thinking.
She's
Like-
incredibly smart. She was like a gifted child and never
Yeah.
stopped being a gifted child. Like she's in college right now.
She's in
Taking-
college right again?
She's taking statistics right now
Sweet Jesus.
and
statistics.
biology lab, and she's thinking about a master's in ecology.
Wow.
Jesus. She should just get a job at a fucking college so that she can go to all these classes for free.
Oh, she has had a job as a professor before.
Of course she has.
Yeah,
Oh,
but she
so
doesn't want a
sad.
job now. She's happy. She's happy just learning.
Yeah, because she's retired, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No more law practice for her. She's
Wow.
very happy about it.
Yeah, I would imagine
Well-
that can take a toll over the years, so.
Yes, it can. Yes,
Okay.
it can.
I looked up best books for art businesses, and I'm on Julie Aaron Designs 10 must-read books for artists and art business owners.
You should be a voice actor.
I should.
That was pretty good.
Could I do it in
So-
my van?
Probably need something to block
It
out the.
might be hard. No crickets allowed.
God damn it! Okay.
You have to have silence. Silence.
Yes, there is that. I could go to libraries.
Is there silence in
And
libraries?
talk into the silence.
Yes.
The librarian's like, "What are you doing?" "Shh, I'm auditioning."
Quiet.
Actually, you should talk to my sister because she doesn't have an address. She does home sits, and that's how she lives. And everything for her studio, she takes around with her in a bag.
Oh yeah.
And that's it.
Oh yeah.
She can fit everything into like 2 bags, and she can just travel anywhere she wants to go.
Probably
So-
having like those foam cube boxes or something, right? You can have the.
Yes, she has one of those. It really doesn't do much for keeping sound out, but it keeps things from bouncing around inside the room you're using. So
Oh, interesting. I do have a very good phone voice. Thank you for
That's
calling
part of
Answers
what it
Painting.
is.
This is Becca. How can I help you?
very
Yeah.
cheery.
Oh, yeah, you gotta push out the depression, you know. Okay,
Believe me.
I think. Okay.
It's got to be on
Um,
audiobook though, so. I
yeah,
don't think
well,
that
I'm
shouldn't
sure
be
we
a problem, but.
I think okay, so Big Magic is number 4 on her list. Number 5 is Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. Number 6 is Start With Why, which is interesting. Oh, it looks like Austin Kleon has a few things. There's one called Show Your Work. And Atomic Habits.
That's a newer one, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was one that actually I had on hold, and then I just skipped it because I had a different.
it
one that
says
came up.
The
But
final
that
book on
one's
our
6
list.
hours.
Yeah, the final book on our list is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is all about how to change your habits and make them stick. If you find yourself struggling to make changes in your life or business, this is a book for you. Clear lays out a step-by-step process for making changes and gives you all the tools you need to make sure those changes stick. One of those things I love about this book is that it's not just about changing your habits, it's about changing your mindset. If you want to make lasting changes, you need to change the way you think about change. This book will help you do just that. Okay, I say we do that one or this one. Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. One of my favorite books for artists is Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It's a quick and easy read and one of the most inspiring and insightful books that I've read on the creative process. Kleon's book is structured around 10 principles for artists, which he refers to as stealing. Finding inspiration in the work of others, embrace collaboration, embrace your influences, work hard, and be persistent. Be open to new ideas and embrace your inner weirdo. Each of these principles is explored in depth, with Kleon sharing examples from his own life and work, as well as the lives of works from other artists he admires.
I gotta
What do
say,
we
I'm
think?
drawn to that one because the Habits
Yeah.
book, do they take neurodivergence into consideration? Because some of us just can't. Like, we literally, our brain wiring doesn't allow for those things. So I don't know.
Thanks.
That's, I mean, like, oh, another book that's going to tell you exactly how to change everything and make habits stick. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think that's going to work for me. Believe me, I've
listen,
tried a lot of them.
I've been taking antidepressants for 2 years every single day, and I miss a day almost once a week. I like
Whoa.
if habits are formed after 30 days, I'm not one of them. Anyway, I also agree. What do you think, Ryan? Steal Like an Artist? Did you look it up?
I'm looking it up. I don't see it on audiobook, but that
Let me
doesn't
see
mean
if it's on
not out
Libby.
there.
Are you
That's
on
what I'm
Libby?
looking. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Steal Like an Artist.
Yeah, because we want it
Everybody's
to be something that can be free if it can be.
can't
I
tell how
think
many
everybody's
pages
Libby
it
is going to be different because it's connected to your local library. It's not like Libby is
Right.
one huge
I
monolith.
know, but I have like 6 libraries and I can't find it on audiobook. Is it audiobook for you?
I don't see it as audiobook. But it came out in 2012, so
I see it on Audible, but that doesn't help for free. Let me see on mine. Oh, I've got to finish The Age of Magical Overthinking. That's what's open right now. Steal Like an Artist. That's like
Maybe
the
it-
antithesis to this like woo-woo art book that we've just read.
Oh, really?
I've got it on audiobook. The Louisville Free Public Library has it. Oh wait,
Ooh.
this is a compilation. Hold on.
Hmm.
Have you? I feel like I looked up some that they actually do recap, not recap is probably not the right word, but they a synopsis maybe, or they kind of summarize it in like a podcast format where they just talk about the book for an hour and go over what it was covering. But I don't know. I feel like there's different
Oh,
quotes that'll jump out at different people.
they have the Steal Like an Artist audio trilogy.
That's what I have.
Oh,
It's the
that's what you
whole
have?
well, and in my library, and yeah, it's read by the author, and it is the entire book plus 2 other books.
Is it the plus show your work and keep going?
Yes,
That might be fun.
and it's only 5 hours. It says.
Yeah. Can you find that, Ryan? Do deep dive. Under the Steal Like an Artist, do deep search or whatever.
Write the book you want to read and make the movie you want to watch. That's how I feel. Like when I'm making a mug, I want to make the mug I want to use.
You guys hear Lloyd?
No, for once. All I hear is the cricket.
For once.
Well, I
I
mean,
do
I'm
see
hearing
the-
everything, but for some reason I'm not hearing it.
I do see the artist audio trilogy.
Okay, then let's do that. That sounds fun. Like 3
Steal Like an
books.
Artist audio trilogy.
Oh, maybe the title is not in your library's catalog. Tag it to receive a notification if the library acquires it.
I have it in mine. I wonder what library it's on. What library is it? Oh, it's in the Indianapolis Public Library.
And we have it in Louisville too. I mean, that sounds like it's a pretty common book.
Yeah, you should just get your mom's library card, Ryan.
Seems accessible.
Yeah, I
You
can
should
ask
just
her.
get
I don't even know
Taylor's
if she
library
has
card.
I don't even know if she has a library card, but she might. 160 pages. That's not too bad, actually. So yeah, it's probably not that long.
Let's do it.
Huzzah!
Yay.
All right, that's the one. Somebody else, I think when we were talking about Big Magic, they mentioned a different one that was
I don't want to read that fucking one.
the one she mentioned was Real Artists Don't Starve. Do you know? Did I tell you about that one?
Real artists don't starve.
Yeah.
Wow, we're gatekeeping so fast. We're
I
gatekeeping
told
any
Ryan.
title.
I
That
told
was
Ryan that the title should actually be "It's Okay to Be a Fat Artist."
Yes, agreed. From a fat artist.
Oh, yeah, I did tell you that, Becca. Okay. That's where
Yeah.
Yep. I remember
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, like
And
it's
he
okay
didn't
to
get it
eat.
at first. He didn't get it at first, and then I was like, "Come on."
I mean, not
Well,
starving.
Yeah. I didn't know what the title was, and she was like, it needs to be something like this. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like this one I was thinking of that somebody mentioned.
This is the way the ADHD brain works. Sophie will do this to me all the time. Like she'll say a sentence and I'm like, I need more context. What's going on here?
Yeah, you just jumped ahead.
Something went on in your brain and I was not privy to that.
Rachel is the worst at that. Like Rachel just like mid-sentence in the middle of Utah, she'll be like blah 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 blah. And I look at like I know she does this to you, Ryan. But she does it to me.
I'm
And
just
I'll be like,
hold up.
what?
What are you talking about?
Can we get some context? And she's like, oh, right. Okay.
Right, you weren't there when I thought that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It's so funny though.
Oh my god. So by when are we gonna try to read this?
Let's look at our calendar.
There's that Midwest twang again. Calendar. Okay.
Okay. Have you noticed how I say big? Before? Big and flag.
Is that BAG or BIG?
BAG.
Mhm.
Bag. Yeah. Milk.
Yes.
Yeah. These are the things
100%.
I have to remove from my speech in order to do my job.
Yep. And
all of my little
pillow.
I tend to say "our" instead of "our" because
Our.
Yeah, and I have to watch that.
What if we get done? Like, what if we? Let's see. The coffee festival is on the 26th. What if we recorded on the 6th of October? And it came out.
Not October. That's a Sunday.
6th of November. Sorry. It was in the October calendar.
You want to record the day after Election Day?
I
don't know if that's smart. I don't think not getting into that, but I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, that might be.
Why don't we pick the date that it's going to go out? I think that's what we told people
let's pick the date
past.
that it's going to go out.
Good idea.
You pick
Should it go out in November?
That sounds reasonable.
Should it go out on November 9th?
We could do that.
Okay.
And then people can get updated if I got elected to city council.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the same ballot as the presidential election. For like,
but we wouldn't record it the week of probably, but
yeah, we'll record it a little bit earlier than that.
Great. Well, you tell me when to show up and I'll show up.
Sweet.
So
Yay.
Steel Artist is the book.
Artist.
Boy.
Create new tag.
He's eating plaster.
Lloyd, do not.
Not
He
smart,
needs to get
Lloyd.
wider.
As if he could be whiter.
I know. Josh, I'm visiting Josh Heim this weekend, and he has a black kitten, and I keep telling him that it looks just like how Lloyd used to look when he was a kitten, and so we call him Bloyd.
Lloyd.
I love that.
Because he's Black Lloyd.
Black Lloyd.
And his real name's like fucking, I don't know, the god of thunder or whatever.
Thor.
Like
Oh no,
Loki,
wait, that's
right?
not it. Loki.
Loki, yeah.
That's a really common black cat name, I think.
Yeah, but me and Josh call him Lloyd. And also, I told him that he needed to have his students read this book, and he thought that I said dick magic.
What?
Does that exist?
I'm sure it's not a book, but it's probably a movie.
Oh, so funny. So anyway, that's been
Probably several
our
movies.
review of
report
Dick
back if-
Magic.
Did he review if they or share whether they read it or not, or if he read
Well,
it?
I told him today that he needs to read it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So he's probably watched it a couple times by now.
Yeah, Dick Magic for sure.
You keep having me on the show, everyone's gonna know how dirty I am. It's bad. The first thing I said to Ryan when we got on the call was, "I'm not wearing any pants. It's so hot in here."
I have another funny story. And then, okay, so I'm at Heidi's house, right? And her parents are old, like in their 80s. And her mom just doesn't wear pants. And apparently this has been her life. It's
Oh my
just
God.
like just doesn't wear pants. And every time I come over here, this includes last year, I walk in the door and then, Mom, you have to put your pants on. Becca's here. And yesterday was her mom's 85th birthday. Okay. Yeah, no, it was Monday. Monday was her mom's 85th birthday. And she walks in and they're like, you have to put your pants on. We've finally gotten to the point where I'm like, you don't have to put your pants on. It's fine. I don't care what your legs look like. And I was like, well, I'm sorry you had to wear your pants for your birthday. I apologize. And she's like, it's okay.
I was imagining her like refusing. She's like, I'm 85. Fuck it. I'm
Yeah.
not wearing
You
pants
know,
anymore.
Or say, I'll meet you halfway. I'll put some shorts on. Or something.
Yeah, like it's so funny. I'm like, you don't have to wear pants. It's fine. Like, I don't fucking care. You're gonna put a blanket on your lap anyway. Like,
I see Lloyd. Hi, Lloyd.
oh, hi.
Hello.
Look at that kiln sitter.
He's a
Yeah.
kiln sitter sitting on the kiln.
Nice.
That's cute. Okay, guys, I gotta go because I've got an audition, believe it or not.
Alrighty.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, have
Working
fun.
day and night.
I literally
Working
do.
9 to 5.
The auditions never stop coming in, and they have a very short deadline, so sometimes I get up out of bed at 11, 11:30, and I bang out 5 or
Wow.
10 auditions. And that's why I have insomnia, because it just never ends.
That sounds terrible.
Well, good luck.
Okay.
Thanks.
We
I have
appreciate
to,
you coming on. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Taylor.
I'm so glad that you invited me. Thank you.
It's
Yeah, if
been
you wanna-
lovely.
If you want to let folks know where you're at on Instagram, they can
Oh,
look you up.
yeah.
Yeah, at Backyard Kiln. I make a lot of cat theme things, so if you like cats,
Yeah.
great. And also, I don't do dogs. I'm sorry, I can't draw them. Just can't. So don't ask me.
Because we're cat people.
I've tried really hard for years to make a good cat, and I finally can. So no dogs.
Deal with it.
Sorry.
That's right.
There's plenty of people that make dog stuff. It's fine.
Yes, there are.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming. That was lovely.
Yeah.
And
Thanks everybody for listening too.
Yes.
go get the job.
Thank you. I need it. See y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
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 Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.